Welcome, everyone. We are really getting into our first week of the Renew course. And today we are going to focus on shopping and utilizing shopping lists, as well as cleaning out your cupboards to give you the best possible start to making healthy lifestyle changes. So, before I get into that, I want to do a quick introduction to artificial and ultra processed foods. This is something I'm going to bring up a few different times over the course of the next several weeks together. But we really want to start paying attention to the food in our food environment, our food landscape, the grocery store, and starting to identify what I call artificial or ultra processed foods. These are foods that look different from their natural state. So they don't look like something you could find in nature. they, they look like squares or chips or different things. And, there are so many food products out there. Really, it's kind of amazing. So there's always going to be exceptions to these rules. And I highly encourage people to bring their questions to the group calls so that we can talk about identifying processed foods or identifying artificial foods. So, artificial and ultra processed foods typically have added sugars and preservatives in them. And these are derived from chemicals that are found to be things like endocrine disruptors. So, they're disrupting our body's ability to regulate hormones. They can lead to weight gain. Even if you're consuming the right amount of calories, if you're not consuming calories from the right types of foods, it can lead to weight gain. So, the first step would be look at your shopping list, look at your meal plan that we've provided for you. And I think what you'll notice is that we really don't see any of those foods on there. We really see good, whole, natural foods in their natural state. And there's going to be a couple exceptions. We do have a meal replacement shake on there, but it is a very high quality one made by a very good company. And it's a way to help kickstart the many of you are hoping for some weight loss. This will give your body a good shock of protein and help you give a little bit of a metabolism boost as you're getting started on this. So that's our only real form of what I would call a food that's away from its natural state. And as an activity, when you are shopping, and you've probably already done your grocery shopping, hopefully by this point, but when you head back, I would take a look throughout the grocery store. Look at the different types of foods that you see when you're checking out, when you're walking through the aisles, and just notice, there's a lot of foods that are probably artificial foods or ultra processed foods. And these have really they weren't really they were around all the time. So artificial and processed foods really jumped onto the food landscape um, probably about between 50 to 70 years ago. We really started preserving and packaging our foods in different ways to increase the shelf life, and it's something that's been wonderful. I mean, amazing. We have all this food available for us, but we are now starting to learn that it's probably causing more harm than good. So it's preserving these foods for very, very long shelf lives, but um, in turn, it's our bodies are not able to process them quite as efficiently. So we gave you a shopping list. But what are you going to do when the meal plan runs out? So there are many different ways you can use shopping lists. There are many different types of shopping lists. Google Keep is one that I have had a lot of clients and patients really enjoy. It's an app that you'll download on your phone, and then multiple family members can all log in together, and you basically have little check boxes where once an item is purchased, it will cross it off and it'll move it down the list, and you can continually keep moving items back and forth. So Google Keep is a great one if you have family members or housemates that you need to share grocery shopping with. Just a plain basic notebook is also fine. So keeping a designated notebook or even keeping a notepad on your refrigerator, these are good tools, nice old school tools. Backs of mail envelopes. So I typically just do that, use the back of an old mail envelope. save paper and whatnot. But the point here is that you're writing it down before you go. So making a plan before you enter the grocery store. And then there's another option, and that option is you can just buy your groceries online and pick them up. This is even faster. So this is a great tool. I think it's good that you are aware of the fact that buying groceries online and picking them up, people typically spend on average about $40 more when they buy them online than when they go into the grocery store. So it will help you stick to your list, but for some reason it typically shows that people spend a little more money on that. So these are some of the ways we can get shopping lists. Why would we want to use a shopping list? The primary way or primary thing is that it prevents impulse buying. So, shopping lists are designed to keep you on track. They keep you from forgetting things, but what they're also hopefully doing is keeping you from buying additional things. So, ordering groceries online can further reduce impulse buying. So, even though I mentioned, oh, yeah, you spend $40 more, sometimes that's just the markup. They're going to give you the most expensive thing. You're not going to get the chance to sift through and find the best deal. So, if you find you make a lot of impulse purchases, ordering groceries online can be a good step for that. Um, Using a list ensures that you always have the necessary ingredients at home. So no more forgetting things when you go to make a dish and you're like, oh, I forgot to get that. The shopping list or something like a Google Keep will help keep you on track with that. It reduces temptation. So 25% of money spent at grocery stores is ultra processed foods. So those things I mentioned at the beginning, 25% of the average person's food budget goes to those foods. It goes to the weight gain promoting foods. So if you have a list ahead of time, you're going to be less likely to do that. And people often say, oh, eating healthy is so expensive. But look at that, 25% of food budgets are going to those things. So um, think about what that would be each year for you. And then if we funneled that into healthier foods, perhaps there is actually room in the budget for it. It reduces time spent in the grocery store. So, grocery stores know that the longer you spend inside their little world, the more money you're going to spend. So, the quicker you can get in, the quicker you can get out, the less money you're going to spend. And it reduces your stress. So, it reduces stress of forgetting things. You have a plan, and you're going to feel more on top of it. Um, so, how to organize a shopping list? I would break it down into different food groups. So, break them down into where you're going to purchase them throughout the grocery store: fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, canned prepared fruits and vegetables, dairy, meats and protein, breads and grains. I would even make that heading and then put those subheadings underneath it, those categories, so that you're going to be more efficient, like a ninja in and out of the grocery store. Vegetables, you've got your list. Fruits, you've got your list, and that will help save you time and you'll feel much more efficient. So your family, your friends and family, your roommates, um, talk to them. Let them know what you're trying to do. Tell them what your intentions are in this program. How can they support you? Maybe it is the Google Keep. You're asking them to help out with this, or um, adding onto the list that you keep onto the refrigerator, or maybe you're going to ask them to not bring in foods that aren't on the list. So what can they do to help you? How can you guys talk about this? Try writing down your why on your grocery list. So write down your why at the bottom. Why do you want to stick to this list? Why do you want to become healthier? So it might be something like you have a goal of hiking a certain distance, or you have a goal of playing with your grandkids, or you really want to lose 10 to 15 pounds. Whatever it is, put that why down at the bottom so that when you're passing tempting foods, you're going to see that and go, oh, yep, I see that I really want those peanut butter stuffed pretzels, maybe I want them, maybe I'm just seeing them. But down here it says I also really want to play with my grandkids. So that might be something that helps remind you. Don't shop when you're hungry or when you're stressed. So, no one will spend more money than a hungry person grocery shopping. Try to be in as best as you can, try to be in a good state of mind before you go in, and then limit your time in the store. So, I mentioned the grocery stores, they know they're trying to get you. So, studies show that we spend up to $5,000 in impulse purchases a year. So we're trying to cut down on those impulse purchases. Remember that we're very concerned about having enough money to pay for healthy foods, that healthy foods are expensive. Well, let's factor in $5,000 of impulse purchases, give or take, and 25% of our food budget on ultra processed or artificial foods. And you might be surprised. This might not be you, it might be you, but you have a little extra space, a little extra room in your budget to choose some healthier foods. All right, so we grocery shopped, and the next thing would be cleaning out the cupboard. Um, so why do we want to remove tempting items? I know this is kind of a typical step that a lot of plans take is removing tempting items, but why are we removing them? Why are you removing them? Well, the more you look at it, the less likely you can resist it. And I do see things all the time where people are so proud, they're like, I keep Oreos in the house and I'm fine. I think, well, that's great. That's awesome for you. Most people can't do that though. Humans are not, we're not hardwired to just see those Oreos and be like, yeah, I'm good. I'll pass those and get some carrots. So the more you look at it, the less likely you are to resist it. This is actually called willpower fatigue, and this has been extensively studied. That the more you make a decision where you resist something. So say you're trying really hard to cut back on sugar because it's making you feel kind of sick or it's causing some weight gain, and you walk by it 6 times a day. Well, every time you walk by it, your brain, they find that your brain waves are actually becoming more and more fatigued. You are fatiguing mentally every time you have to say, oh, okay, I'm going to stop and walk past it. um, and then by the end, you kind of feel worn down. So every tough decision makes it a little bit harder. Don't do that. Make it easier on yourself. Whatever you can do to make this easier on yourself. Um, intuitive eating is a pretty popular principle, and I think it has a place. Intuitive eating really has a place um, in a healthy food environment. But you know, it we have to strike a balance between, do you really want this food enough that you're going to go out and really enjoy it, or are you eating it simply because it's there in front of you? So most of us are going to find that removing these items from your kitchen, from your cupboards, is going to make things a lot simpler. It's going to really reduce that willpower fatigue. It was just there. So, did you eat it because it was available or because you really wanted it? A lot of this food that we have in our cupboards, they came from impulse purchases. They came from, you were at the store and you saw it and you were like, awesome. And you threw it in your cart and you got home and there it sits. And it might not be your favorite food. It might have been an impulse purchase. So, are you eating it because it's in front of you or because you truly wanted it? Would you be willing to leave your house, go to the store, and buy a single serving for yourself? Would you be willing to go out and buy one donut? Would you be willing to go get one cookie just to enjoy it? And if the answer is yes, then you did want that food, and that's wonderful. But if it was just there in front of us, again, most of us probably not. We're probably not going to leave the house and be like, I really just want that one Oreo. And then are you physically hungry or emotionally hungry? So are you truly hungry? Do you need sustenance, or are you hungry for something else? Are you needing something else? So I would recommend removing and identifying and removing ultra processed foods and artificial foods. So packaged processed things, these are typically chips, cookies, candies, frozen meals, meal replacement bars, um, any type of food that says diet on the front of it, artificially colored things. So, really, unnaturally brightly colored foods. So, think things like Kool-Aid, Pop Tarts, brightly colored yogurt, coffee creamer. This gets a lot of people, but there are a lot of chemicals that are typically added into coffee creamer unless you are specifically getting just pure cream. So true cream or a really pure natural version of coffee creamer. Most of us aren't. Most of us are getting Coffee Mate. So I would think twice about that if you wanted to be focusing on gut health. It's something we'll keep going over, but coffee creamer, um, brightly colored drinks, sweets. So most people after surgery can't tolerate sugar. And even if they think they can tolerate it, they can't. So I do see a lot of people who, again, they feel like, oh, I have these IBS type symptoms. I feel bloated. I just don't feel very good, and they think they can tolerate sugar just fine. But the truth is you probably can't. It's the rare person that can really truly tolerate and eat sugar after surgery. So you might want to consider cleaning out those types of foods. And then any sweetened beverages, regular cow's milk, juices, sodas, diet and regulars, sweet teas, Kool-Aids, energy drinks. Um, I would go ahead and try to remove those too. And then just a note, you might have some sweet foods that stay in the house. Most of us don't live in isolation. So if you do live with other people, don't throw away their stuff without asking them. Make sure it's a family conversation that you have together. And why are we doing this? Well, we're trying to give you the advantage. You need to try to make this easier on yourself. We are hardwired to reach for these things. um, our human brains we're designed to try to get these things. We're designed to try to get the calories, get the sweets in. So don't torture yourself by walking by tempting foods all day long in your own home. Life is, we have enough stressors, we have enough stressful things going on. So remove it from the house, give yourself the advantage. And then when you have that moment where you really want dessert, you really want something sweet, you crave something salty or crunchy, you're going to know that you really want it enough to go out and get it. Go out, get yourself a serving of it, enjoy it, enjoy that food, and then come back to an environment where you are at peace. So we have a peaceful home free of that temptation. So the activity this week is going to be investigating your cupboards and your fridge for processed or tempting foods. And are these foods something you can get rid of? So they might not be. Talk with your family, talk with your roommates, ask if they can do anything to help you. We'll have some help down the road of how to have tough conversations with family members, but just open the door gently with them, and say, "Hey, I'm trying to do this. I'm really struggling. I'm when I see these foods, it's really hard for me to resist them. Would you mind keeping them out of sight? Would you mind keeping them somewhere else? Would you be okay if we stuck to a shopping list? I want your input on this." So make sure they are involved with you. And then utilize your shopping list when you're at the grocery store. That's your test. Only buy what's on the list. You might need to scale up or down, depending on how many people you're feeding. Our meal plan is designed only for one person. So if you're a family of four and you are cooking this for everybody, you might want to scale up quite a bit. So that will be your own individual choice. And then the last thing I would do is write down your why at the bottom of the shopping list to remind yourself when you're passing by impulse purchases. And that is what we have for today. So, everyone go forth and clean out your cupboards and shop with zeal, and we will see you next time.